Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here with another episode of VP Crow's Nest. Tonight, we got Vikes.
Hey.
We got Ross.
Good evening.
And we got Neil, a.k.a. Murder.
Hello, everyone.
And so I guess tonight we're going to be talking about the new FM stuff, the wonderful change for the base parts targets that happened this week. And we'll be doing some raid feedback. But let me get screen sharing going and we'll get started here. So I guess the first thing that we'll talk about is bug fixes and tunings. They fixed an issue with zombie turrets in the event targets. They fixed an issue where the Scorpion Sting campaign would not allow mana cores at one point. And they fixed an issue where Phoenix and Skyfire hulls were unable to use tokens once retrofitted. And I don't know about you guys, but I had heard about all of these bugs.
Yes. Indeed.
So, but apparently they're all fixed and we're good to go on that front. So, cool. Okay, let's get right into the wrap up for the raid. So let's see. And you know, after this raid was over, I got to thinking about the name of it called Mercenary, and I was like, I wonder if that was a coincidence because it seemed like the only way you could do really well in this raid is if you hired a mercenary that had a Katie's. So man, called my tinfoil hat there. Maybe, I don't know. But so we had 3,770 people. Well, first, actually, let's start out with the 10,843 people that attempted to participate in the raid and got less than 1 million points. Then 1 million points up to 5 million, we had 3,770. At the 5 million to 10 million mark, we had 1,837. The 10 million mark to 50 million, we had 3,193. 50 million plus up to 100 million, that was 2,203. That's where you could get to the point where you could have, like, claim one of the flagships or, like, you know, a flag and both Howies or whatever. 100 million plus people, we had 1,511. 200 million, we had 563 people. 350 million plus, we had 96 people. And 500 plus million, we had a whopping 27 people. So, yeah, not great participation numbers in my view, anyway, as far as what people were able to achieve with their points. But I did pull another interesting slide, and this might catch me some flack. But I got to wondering, okay, who were the people that felt that this raid was a good value, and who was it that decided they wanted to spend money on this raid, which in my opinion was a total disaster. And so I just pulled like the top 5 alliances and that achieved points in this raid. And we had SDS7, we had SODP, we had BPL, and we had GIMPs, and we had gangs. And you can see the start there, the 6th one, which was PNLS. So those apparently are the people who thought this raid was good value and thought it was definitely worth spending their money on this raid. So I don't know what to say. Congratulations, I guess, on having more money than common sense, in my opinion. I don't. I probably shouldn't say that, but that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, there are certain exceptions to everything. There were certain players that did have it's just the Katie's, in all honesty. For those players that went ahead and spent the time and their money ahead of time on that Katie's, and they certainly did not know it was going to be this good in the event. And so they did do really well, the ones that I saw, and they honestly for little to no money. But occasionally, even they lost the Katie's I saw on in some of the game targets. So
yeah, I mean, and honestly, if you had a Katie's, you know, more power to you. If you were able to get some good value out of this raid and not have to throw a coin at it, you know, fair play. And within some of these alliances, there probably were, you know, a few people that did have a Katie's, so that could account for some of the points. But also, I'm sure some of these points were just accumulated by throwing money at the raid as well.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. as fast as some of them went up, yeah, they had to have.
Yeah, I totally agree. Something else that so I just went back today and I was looking at the discussion thread for the raid. Over 50,000 views on that thread, with over 3,500 posts and responses on that thread. Which, like normal discussion threads updates, gets I don't know, maybe probably 1K views, maybe, and maybe a couple hundred responses. Not this time, pal. And I wanted to just go over and read what Rampage posted about the raid and the difficulty level and all that. And I'm not going to just totally yell at Rampage because I'm sure this is basically what he was probably told to say. But it says this was clarified in the thread last night, and we'll do the same here. You had 4 months to adjust for the siege cycle target. This is the start of a new cycle. Where you have room to grow and improve your performances in the assault cycle targets for the next 4 months. These targets are indeed more challenging for your fleets, as many of you do not have fully built fleets of Manticores yet. This leaves you room to improve as the event cycle continues. We are also coming off siege cycle, where the targets were much easier than they were intended to be. However, to maintain your experience, we did not change the mechanics of the targets during the event cycle. This thread has been closed. If you want to continue to discuss your event, please do so in the official 8.19 discussion thread here. And when we started going from the date of the updates to an 8.19 thing, I'm not sure when that happened exactly, but whatever. But I don't know about you guys, but I'll be totally honest. I found this post to be a little bit condescending. I found it to be a little bit insulting and belittling. I've been playing this game for 7 years. I know what to expect when we go into a new raid site. And to be sat down and talked to like a 5-year-old, like I should have I don't know what to expect out of this game by a person who has only been working for this company a seventh of the time that I've been playing this game. That doesn't go down with me very well. I mean, at this point in time, I'm pretty sure everybody on this panel has been playing this game for longer than most of the developers have been working there, if not twice as long as a lot of the developers have been working there. We know what to expect out of a raid cycle, and having you talk down to us about this is not a good way to get any good feelings coming out from us. Discuss.
Well, first of all, I want to know where they figure 4 months when our cycles are now 3 months.
No, we're 4 months.
Yeah, it's a 4 month deal, but he's right on that. But I don't know. How about that? I could pick this all apart. I really could. It actually almost every sentence. But my issue here really was I saw it. It upset me. It didn't upset me quite as much as it did some. Holy cow! But they teach their own. They read this the same way or read into it however you want. But let's put it. It was really just written poorly, to put it mildly. And I was expecting a retraction, an apology, not an apology in all honesty for the way the game's performing, but maybe for the way they misworded this community thread. And that's what I was waiting for. And then, so my most shocked in this whole thing was the dark going dark after this, the silence, to make this statement. Let's not adjust anything. Let's just basically stick it to you and stand by what this comment.
Well, let's be fair. Right. Let's be fair. We can't say they didn't do any adjustments. They did lower the defenses and the targets a little bit, which I think most people saw. A whopping 20 minutes difference in damage that they took. Woohoo! Yeah. Woohoo! And they reduced the hit down multiplier, which, quite frankly, in my opinion, should not be there in the first place. If I'm hitting a target that's recommended for legendary phoenixes, say for example, and I'm hitting that target with legendary phoenixes, there should be no point reduction for me. I am hitting that target with the fleet that you said it should be hit with. There should not be a diminishing returns for me on that target hitting it with the proper fleet.
Correct.
And it says many of you do not have the fully built fleet. Manticore's did we even have enough resistors released to build a full fleet?
No.
Okay, so the actual reason we don't have the fully built fleets is because incompetence in the game company that can't release their own product in the correct order. So that's how I call that one. That's basically cut and dry. So that comment was should have been left out, but just like I was saying, I truly could pick out apart this, and I understand he's a community manager and maybe he's not able to write fluently, possibly.
I can guarantee you this post was probably passed down to him. And I'm not even sure if he wrote this post. Somebody else might have wrote it and said, here, you need to post this up.
This looks like something he would write, though. Sorry. I just had to say that. It did, like you said, it was very condescending and with no effort in supporting the players out there. It's just like, here it is, tough crap, so.
Yeah, and I mean, and quite honestly, I never, ever, 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 ever want to hear the words come out of Kix's mouth is, we've heard your feedback and are listening to. I never want to hear those words come out of their mouth again. Because here's 3.5 thousand posts that you obviously did not listen to and did not give a shit about what people had to say. So don't try to ever feed me that crap again about you heard our concerns and you're listening to us.
No, I think that's just a fill-in line. It's just, no, it is. It is. It's just, here you go.
But I mean, I don't know. And like right here, where that line that says these targets are indeed more challenging for your fleet, as many of you do not have fully built fleets of Manticores yet. Well, you knew going into this that hardly anybody, nobody was going to have fully built fleets because the flag wasn't even out yet. You knew that the people who had 4 of them done was going to be a very small handful of people. Yet you're basically saying right there that you did not tune the targets with that in mind at all. You tuned them for fully built fleets, which you knew was impossible for anybody to fucking have.
But didn't they say they were going to tune them for not having fully built fleets? Didn't I hear they say that a little bit?
I haven't really heard them say that. My issue is if the tuning's off in the first one, by reasoning it's off in the entire cycle because they tune up. They go, I mean, it never stays the same. The cycle next time is going to be harder no matter what.
Yeah, we got next month's raid, a month after to try to be proficient at it.
Well, we got 3 more raids coming after this one. We got next month, the month after that, and the month after that. So and if you're gonna keep up, you're gonna keep up on the damage, and because that's what you always do. And the only thing that you gave us to cope with that is what, in my opinion, is a subpar flagship to begin with, and you expect us to be able to overcome all those obstacles. You really need to stop and reassess and rethink this whole thing. Well, especially another thing that really eats my ass too is the fact that if you were using scatter guns, as most people were, you had to drive the target if you wanted to get out of it with any kind of acceptable damage. Well, it still wasn't acceptable, but I'm saying at least more acceptable than if you just autoed it. And this is supposed to be the freaking auto hull.
Back up just a little bit, and a lot of this, and we talked about this one other time, is the fact that they didn't bring out the siege target type TLCs to actually help us get ready for this raid. They come out with the other type of targets. So that wasn't in line with what they were doing before as to help us prepare. I thought it was kind of screwy there.
Yeah, you're talking about for the TLC, the fact that we went back to old Phoenix targets as opposed to doing like Buccaneer targets or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and the amount of tokens that we got out of that TLC was like piss poor.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. They had no desire to help us get ready whatsoever. It was just kind of throwing it out there and going, tough shit, boys. There you are.
I mean, here's what I'm taking from the last raid cycle compared to this raid cycle. My personal opinion: the last raid cycle, the developers got to run the last raid cycle. This raid cycle, it's very obvious to me that this raid cycle has product written all over it. You're gonna pay for what you're gonna get. Period.
I think I can't tell if it's product or what. In all honesty, I see a dwindling in effort in across the board in all of what I see in the game. And it's not just it's truly across the board. It goes everywhere, from their posts, their information out to the public, their videos, their all release information. Actually, their thought process on how the game works and what they're releasing in what order. This is not my job. I don't get paid to do this. And in all honesty, I could do many areas of this much better than the people are getting paid to do it. So that's upsetting to me. And I think it's all around, but support's lacking. Certainly the community manager release information's lacking. Bug error, game errors is lacking. So I'm not sure what part of the game has really gotten better. I know, well, I can say actually, sorry, the art department, the graphics have gotten better. So it's kind of to me, it's not an overnight thing. This has been a gradual, and they're just letting it. So I don't quite understand it, but that's what I see.
Poor communication has not been a gradual thing. Poor communication has been there for a long, long time now.
Yes.
I'll give you an excellent example of poor communication. Had they told us that we were going to be able to start using base parts this week to be able to do turrets and stuff like that, people wouldn't have gotten so pissed off about structure tokens not being in the raid. But no, they'd rather not tell you anything, have people get all pissed off, have some people quit, and then the next week be like, oh yeah, by the way, here you can use base parts on your turrets now, and that's kind of why we didn't have structure build tokens in the raid. Well, you freaking moron! What you did that ass backwards. You should have told us and then said, but here you're going to be able to use base parts, but because of that, you're not going to get structure tokens. People would have been like, okay, I can live with that. But no, you did ass backwards, got everybody all pissed off. And that's the problem. That's poor communication at its finest, right there.
Well, that's them doing what they do best. They release something first and then really release something else to counter it afterwards, after the fact, to try to make up for it.
I think, what I had to say, in the wrap up of this is I think actually the ramifications that have come from this statement made by the community manager are massive, and I actually have seen more effect from this forum post than I have in any forum post that I can recall.
That is true, yeah.
I'm just my wrap up is going to be just what I said before. To me, this raid cycle has product written all over it. If you want something, you're going to have to pay out the freaking nose for it.
Yeah. I got a feeling next raid's not going to be any better, and they're going to be losing players starting next raid if it's not.
Oh, they don't have to wait to start till next raid. They've already lost players.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'll give you a great example. BP Professor has quit the game.
And that's very sad. I've seen that, and that is someone who was great for the community.
Spent a lot of time giving out good information. A lot of time.
Holy cow! Yes, I mean honestly, his gameplay was for the community. Truly was. I think that all that the professor's gameplay was to gain information to share with the community, and so that's really going to, in fact, hurt BP losing players like that. You know, so and they're dropping away. I'm not going to drop away. I'm not going to just disappear like that. I like the game still. I like my friends. I still like the basic concept of the game for sure. It's just values lacking. So I control that part though. So no one controls on how much I spend. I get to control that. So I pay for what I think of as value now these days instead of the normal for the last actually 5 years, no matter what, on the 1st and the 15th by this amount of points. That's just not going to happen.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, we spent a good 22 minutes about talking about how much the raid sucked and how much this post pissed people off. So I think we should probably move on at this point.
Good deal.
We might come back to it if we have a little bit of time to kill at the end. The May FM. New prizes are being introduced in the May FM. They'll be revisiting the prize list next week to help you better progress. This may be your last chance to pick up some items, so be aware of that. It'd be a little nicer if they would spell out what items this would be our last chance to pick up so people could pick them up before they disappear, but that would involve clear, precise communication, and Kixeye doesn't like to do that. So let's talk about ballistic overlay. Ross, you want to do this one?
Sure can. Ballistic overlay on this one, it provides some extra damage for the ballistic damage and for the defense structures nearby. So what that means is it does affect the friendly turrets, buildings in a range of 40. What it's going to do is it's going to take the building ballistic building defense and increase it by 20%. Now, if you have this also equipped to an outpost, naval lab, or an advanced lab, it's going to increase an additional, or not an additional, I believe, just the 50%.
Correct. So it's pretty much the same as the other overlays that we've had, only this one's for ballistic instead of, explosive or concussive or penetrative or whatever. It's just same overlay for ballistic because we know the ballistic hull is coming up in bounty here, and I guess that's next week, huh?
Yeah, I think it's
I think next week. Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to get some ballistic defense going on all your stuff from back on your island and your front turrets and whatnot, this is the way to do it.
And in all honesty, this was released correctly this year. This is coming out on time. So you want to plan ahead.
Since we did get the short video that said that there would be a new ballistic hull coming out, which was one of the better things that Rampage does do, is that little short video.
Yeah,
the Friday one. Yep.
Yeah, which ironically enough, there wasn't one this past Friday, was there?
No, there was not.
Nope, there was not. Wanted to be pretty scarce while that raid was going on. Anyway, SB1 splash buffer. You want to go over this one, Dan?
Yep. That's it. This here's your splash buffer. It gives you 150 range and a negative splash percentage of 70%, with a bonus effect with the outpost of another minus 35%. These splash buffers I don't know about. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
I've never seen anything that's supposed to work for splash reduction that you put on buildings or for a gate that's supposed to reduce them. I've never seen them work at all to the degree I thought they should work. What do you? How about the rest of you?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly how I see it. Because I've seen them and they haven't worked. Didn't do nothing, really.
Well, and if I just, I mean, they do. I can't say they don't do anything because I can see something. But when I see stats like reduce splash 70%, I call no. I mean, I just straight say no.
No.
I mean, I could, if I remove that and then test it without it and then test it with it, it's not going to last 70% longer, you know, or it's just not happening. So nice try.
No Phobos in chat right now is saying he put one on his OP and he doesn't see the 150 range ring. So,
well, imagine that.
I'm sure that's just a graphical error and everything is working as intended.
Exactly. There you go.
But you know, but actually, this is released also. I think correct time as the other. We're getting overwhelmed right now with the splash tactics. So,
yep, that is true.
These are things.
Next, we got the Achilles missile.
There you go, Neil. You want to go over that?
Why, sure. I'll do the best I can.
Sure.
It's a new Conqueror Defender weapon, and the big thing I see about it is that it does give you a slow effect of 5%. I haven't checked it against the other specials or the other missiles, so it's an escalation weapon of the Achilles technology. It provides explosive deflection. In addition, features a stacking slow on any target hit. This weapon may be used to equip the defenders and conquer hulls. So, but like I said, I'm sorry, but I didn't compare it to my old one.
I personally think this will be a good addition for I don't know so much about basers, but for guard fleets, you know, to get that slowdown effect, I think it will be effective on that.
I want to add into it. It's pretty good for fleet to fleet. I would think that for those that get into the mega type battles, for when you're trying to slow down another fleet in a mega type battle so they don't get to someone's engine, and you know, it could be used there too.
Yeah. Good call. Good call. I didn't really think about that because I know when I get in mega battles, I ignore everything else and just go straight for my opponent's mega engine is all I do. And you'd be surprised how far like 3 missile cruisers will get you, how many battles that'll get you through if that's all you do in those battles. I'm saying those things last a long time. You can take out lots of mega engines with those.
Yes, you can.
Next, we had the assault mortar.
I can do the assault mortar. Yeah, the assault mortar, the L84X. This is a Forsaken Conqueror hull class type weapon. It's a tier 7 mortar. It is explosive damage style. Now it is it's pretty heavy. It's 750 tons. However, it's not off the charts compared to some. It does have over damage of 760. So that figure on the over damage has changed with this weapon. So there's a bit of an increase there. The projectile speed is 78. The splash is 10. Spread is 60. Range is a 40 to a 90. So it does have a donut and an inside ring. You want to be, aware of that. The damage is high at 13,996. Reload time is 6. This has a high wall damage and a building damage of 10,497. What comes with this one here is it's got the bonus defense for concussive deflection. So that's a big one at 105,404. This also has the standard pass through when you equip this to a hull of 360. The special abilities for this is it does create a fire field. Possibility of that occurring is 15%. The duration of that will last 6 seconds. And it looks like it has a duplicate aura cap 5 and the range of the fire field, I believe, looks like 16. This is going to reduce your explosive deflection by 3,007 or 3,766, and it's going to cause you some explosive damage at a rate of -200 per second. So
now, let me ask you a question. When we're dealing with deflection numbers currently that are in like the 1.5 millions, the 2.5 millions, the 3 millions, is reducing my explosive deflection by a grand total of we'll round it up and we're going to say 20,000. Is that going to have any effect at all on my votes?
well, see, that's into the part where I just don't think we're being communicated well. I think that right there just shows that. What is the big picture? Why is that even there? Is there some big picture we're missing that requires us to have an explosive deflection of 3,076 removed? Because that to me seems like a waste of effort to even like build that in. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 million explosive deflection and you reduced it by 20K. Oh no, what am I going to do now? I mean.
Well, and the fact that the salvo here.
Yeah, how can you have a spread with no salvo?
I was wondering, it doesn't list the salvo?
No.
I'm assuming if there's no salvo listed, it's just the salvo of 1.
Yeah, so how can you have a spread of 60 then?
Spread though is more about your accuracy. Like if it's gonna shoot
all right.
If it's gonna shoot at point A on the map, your spread is how it deviates over to the right or to the left or up or down.
Yeah, it's
so you can still have the spread even with just one salvo.
Okay, so I would use the I don't know. I would prefer, I guess, with that being, I would prefer another weapon. I like the over damage of 760, but if it only does have a salvo of 1, I'm not going to get that much over damage out of it, and so I think I might get more damage from the previous weapon.
Well, and I mean, and here's the thing too, though, with it only having a projectile speed of 78, is there ever going to be anything that's still sitting there by the time that mortar lands? 78 is not a high projectile speed at all.
No, I guess I'll have to see each one kind of performs differently in battle. We even have the boomerang mortar still that comes out of the bottom and then flies up.
Right.
So I'll be interested to see how this performs.
One stat I would really like to see him add for mortars is the arc. Because some mortars fly way up high in the air and then come down, and some of them have a very shallow arc. I would like to see the arc printed more in the blueprints, because then that allows you to know how much that projectile speed comes into play. If you have a low arc, a lower projectile speed isn't as devastating as if you have a really high arc.
That's true.
So that's something I would like to see him put more on blueprints, is like the arc height or something like that. I don't know what you would refer to it to, but yeah, I would like to see that maybe added to some of these blueprints.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Moving right along, though, we can talk about the MC Plate 2.
Yeah, we got the MC Plate 2, the new Conqueror Defender Hull Ballistic Plate. That has your weight's 900 ton, gives you 1,000 armor points. Woo! Gives you another ballistic deflection of 1,066,846, and another penetrated deflection of 795,816. Your basic pass-throughs of 360 per. Equipped cap is only 2 of them, with a 15-minute repair time. And it's good, but I don't think it's not quite good enough yet.
the one thing I guess whether it's quite good enough or not depends on your perspective. As somebody who's much more of a defender than I am an attacker, I don't want to see the numbers get any higher than that, really. Otherwise, I would have really no chance of stopping anything.
I'm sure you would. There's a lot of other things that will stop it, though. It'll go back to when it wasn't. I mean, you can still stop the fleet in your base.
If you can put 3 of these on a hull and you can get your ballistic deflection just through these armors up to 3 million, just by putting these armors on, if you were able to equip 3, I would not be able to stop anything. Period.
No, it's if you put 2 of these, put 2 of these on, and 3 of the other ones, you get up to 4 million, and it's still not good enough.
And I don't know if I'm cutting in or out or not, but I wanted to add that if you were to do such a thing, that you're really going to be open to some radioactive damage type. So it's it does depend on what you do in the game, whether you like this or not. Just like Damnation was saying, as a defender, they're truly happy at this. As an base attacker, you're truly not happy. So it's a give or take.
Well, I like to defend plus hit, so it's a give and take from it. I mean, I like to still make my base good without having to have a special item to make it good to stop a fleet that overpowers them. Find other ways to stop them, but still this plate does not make it even still viable to really hit bases.
And today's current game, though, when it comes to base defense, really that's the only way you're going to stop anybody is being able to overpower them. That's the only option you have.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm personally, like I said, I'm glad to see this is how they're going to do. They're going to do the limits. You know, the first one you could have an equip cap of 3. This one, since it's more powerful, now you can only have an equip cap of 2. And I would assume when MC Plate 3 comes out eventually, you'll have an equip cap of 1 on that. But yeah, they probably still don't have the balance quite right. But I don't know. It's a tough call.
I mean, they don't got to make it over the top. I mean, but they can put it right on the edge where your fleet's not taking a full half damage with 1 hit. You know,
I think the problem. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, let it take maybe a third, a quarter damage, but when you get slammed still with 2 shots and dying, it's still not quite right. I mean, it could go up a little bit more.
I think they've kind of a little bit backed themselves into a corner because with the astronomical numbers that we're dealing with now, I think it's very, very hard to balance it because of those astronomical numbers.
Well, I can agree with that too. The numbers they're putting out there are crazy.
I mean, that's basically the sole reason why over damage had to get added in, because no fleets were able to do anything to other fleets in like a fleet versus fleet scenario because of the astronomical deflection numbers that we're dealing with. And no boat can put out that much damage.
And let's note that over damage has already been adjusted in this last mortar. That figure, the over damage figure that was kind of the standard for the last release, has changed. So.
Well, I will say that does make a little bit of sense in my mind anyway, because it is an assault mortar, so it should be doing a little bit more, because assault has always been, that's what deals a little bit more damage to ships. So that does make a little bit sense that number on that would be a little bit higher. I still think over damage as a whole, I still think is a terrible idea. But yeah. I do understand why on an assault mortar it would be a little bit higher than on a regular mortar, following their assault does more damage to fleets.
Yes, agreed. Yeah,
but I still think over damage is a hard one. But let's see, what else we got? Oh, the siege target transition. This is a fun one. With the end of the siege cycle, the new Legion siege targets will be replacing the Scourge siege targets. Starting May 15th, the new Legion targets will be spawning alongside the Scourge targets. Then on June 13th, the Scourge siege targets will no longer spawn. Base parts can now be used to upgrade the new building and defense platform levels introduced with Outpost 10. The only good thing they've done for this game in the past month.
Well, in all honesty, they didn't really work that one right either. I mean,
well, I'm talking mainly just to use base parts to upgrade your shit. That's the only good thing that's been done this month. Now, the targets didn't last very long. They were on for a couple hours maybe, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to rebalance these things," and they got pulled on the first day.
But I didn't expect the base parts to happen quite yet either, though. I think they're just doing that now because I didn't think it for a couple more months before they're going to let base parts do anything. So I think they pulled it early.
I'm pretty sure they knew this was coming. They knew they were doing this at least when they came out with the raid prize list, and that's why the structure tokens weren't there, because they knew this was coming. They just, like I said earlier, they communicated it ass backwards.
Well, yeah, they did that too. Definitely.
But when they do eventually get these targets balanced and bring them out on the map, maybe that'll be June 13th, maybe. But you'll want to use your Buccaneers or your Hydras for the high-level targets, and you will also be able to use the Buccaneer in the Path of the Continent campaign that's running right now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Next slide just talks about the different levels. The old Scourge Siege targets, level 30s, will be replaced with the Legion Siege 32s. So you'll be getting that like about 3,400 less base parts out of those. The 52s will be replaced with 52s, which you'll be getting 5,000 more base parts out of. 67s will be replaced with another 67, which you'll be getting 7,000 more base parts out of. 81s will be replaced with 82s, which will net 10k more base parts out of. 99s will be replaced with 98s, which you'll get 5k more base parts out of. And 103s will be replaced with 105s, which you will get the same amount of 300k.
Okay.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think about them changing the targets? I mean, we knew they were going to be doing it. For me, the proof will be in the pudding when they finally get what they think is balanced correctly and we see how much damage you take. I know on level 103 Scourge ones right now, I'm taking, I'd do it fully auto. I take about 28 minutes per target.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm getting something comparable out of the 105, I'll be happy.
Well, I mean, I autoed 52s for free, though. So we'll see. I do the 52s for free for instant repair. So.
Well, yeah, but I'm too lazy to do a whole bunch of 52s. I just do the 103.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll go do a 103s, but I do 52s for free for res. Because you don't get no res out of 103s.
No. What do you think?
I'm up in the air about them. I don't know why they continually change the targets. I mean, they're just chore targets, and I mean, we get something that works, and we can find a way through them. Like, say, I can do the 103s for about 20, 22 minutes. I don't understand sometimes. It's just another way of screwing over the lower players that just get acclimated to doing one target. Now we got to figure out a way to do another target that they might not even have the ships to do them with because they were so far behind before.
Well, I think this all comes back to, and we knew they were going to do it because they do it, every raid cycle. It has to do with reusing targets and making our last raid fleet have a longer life. But I take it all back to the one point in time when we had the FM, and that one FM target that we had the same FM target, I don't know for how long it was, probably like 2.5 years. And people complained that they were just tired of seeing that same target over and over and over and over and over. And that's probably what led to all this.
You
Yeah.
can't satisfy them no matter what you do. If you give them something new, if you leave something old out there, somebody's going to whine about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just this is just general progression. It's it really basically is designed, I think, to increase the longevity of the ships you're getting, being that these targets will be around a little longer. But it all actually ultimately depends on how they're tuned, and so that's up to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point in time, it is really hard to give any kind of feedback on what we think, whether it's going to be good or bad or whatever, because they haven't put the final iterations of the targets out yet. And you would think, with having just come off of a 4-month-long raid cycle, you know, that they would have some kind of idea where these targets should be tuned to at this point. Like,
you'd think.
So how can after hitting these targets for 4 months, can you not have any idea where the damage is supposed to be? I don't understand that. I don't understand.
But you're talking about longevity, also longevity of the ships. Well, people are using the new ships in those targets too. You know, not old ships.
Right.
This way, old ships can be used and new ships can be used in those targets. You go over here to the Legion ship. Now the old ships won't be able to do those targets.
Well, no, but if they leave the old targets on the map forever, they're just encouraging people to be stagnant in their game and not grow at all. I mean, the campaign is out right now. I'm going to talk about it here in a minute. Where it's a co-op.
Okay.
It's a co-op.
All right. Okay.
It's a co-op campaign that you can actually hand to other people the fleet to do these targets.
Okay, go ahead. You do the co-op with my guys with it then.
A VXP weekend's coming up. Runtime 5:18 at 9 a.m. to 5:21 at 9 a.m. This is your first chance to rank your new assault hulls. Robot raiders, unidentified raiders, 55 assault style targets will spawn throughout the weekend. Salvage and elite targets will not have an increase in payouts. Apparently that worked great for them last time. They're doing it again this time.
Yeah.
Unidentified raiders, level 105 assault style targets will only spawn from the normal 9 a.m. Saturday to 9 p. or 9 a.m. Friday to 9 p.m. Saturday. And it's similar to what we will encounter in the current assault cycle raid. And you cannot retreat from this target. Other VXP targets are not affected. Upon destruction, the 105 will pay out 3 Defender class VXP tokens that are 10k VXP each.
Nice.
Yep. Nice.
So what's everybody have they're going to be ranking?
Oh, I still got my mana cores to rank. I never get them ranked last time myself. I got the new lead ship for the mana core, and I also have 2 of the defenders, the new ones.
Cool. I know I myself only have the flagship for the mana cores. That's the only thing I'll be ranking.
Yep, that's all I got to rank too, because I got tokens for my defender.
Same here.
I've got a fleet of chameleons that I built for the raid that didn't work, by the way. That I probably rank them up too.
So yeah, it sounds like nobody has a whole lot to rank this time around. It seems just a flagship and maybe an odd ship here or there.
Not as bad as it was last time. Seemed like I had a boatload of stuff to rank myself last time, but it'll work. I'll get it worked out. And
to me, when I have a lot to rank, it means the game was actually planned right. In all honesty, if your product wants to increase my spending, give me things to work on. I'm going to be stuck here with 1 ship to rank, and this is the ranking weekend for the month. 1 ship to rank this month. That's going to be a first for me. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Well, be careful what you wish for, because I remember months when I've had like freaking 15 holes that I needed to rank. And
yeah.
those months sucked worse than only having one thing to rank. So just be careful what you wish for, mister.
Yeah, true.
Well, I mean, when we got more ships, I mean, that means we were busy and having more fun. And
Just because you have more ships does not necessarily mean you're having more fun.
That's true.
That's true. No, that's true. But I'm saying one is just one. Come on.
well, also you got to look at it this way. We are now down to just using one fleet for the raid, not two.
Well, it's one. This is one ship I don't even like.
Well, I didn't say you had to like it.
You know, and I'll be honest, and you guys tell me what you think about this. I would almost like to see VXP weekend maybe postponed until the week after Bounty.
It'd be nice that way, but you know, in all honesty, we are given a chance to now get the Conqueror ranking tokens through other means. So as long as we're given the.
But if you're an idiot like me and forget to build them all the time, then it helps at all.
Can't fix stupid.
Or you go to log on and you're like, and you finally remember to make one. And you're like, son of a bitch, I don't have enough titanium, and you're like, I can't be bothered to go out and get it right now, you know. So
right.
Poor planning on your part.
No, laziness on my part, because I don't have fun hitting the targets that I need to get the titanium to make the tokens. Is really what it comes down to. I don't find them fun, so I don't do them.
Yeah, I choose the ones that I can hit on auto. So, but same.
All right, let's talk about the Hydra's Hollow campaign.
Awesome.
I think we said you were going to talk about that, yeah?
Yep. All right, the Hydra's campaign. All right. That's a run time from 5:15 at noon to 5:22 to noon. It can be completed with your Hunter, Fangtooth, or Prototype Seeker fleets. In your prize pack 1, you get your Hydra Siege Cruiser and your Siege CIC for it. Prize pack 2, you get your Multiplex Double Charge Doubler, Siege Mercenary CIC, and your Siege Aegis CIC. Prize pack 3, you get Blood Hydra, your optimized launcher, D116S, and you get some Hydra Siege Cruiser build tokens times 3. Then your Mastery Prize, you also get a 1-day Siege Cruiser build token times 7. You can do that 2 times. Same with the Blood Hydra build token times 5. Then you get your 25,000 VXP Siege Cruiser token times 2. And your 30,000 VXP Blood Hydra token times 2. As I get plenty of tokens in these. But yet we didn't get plenty of tokens in the ones we need.
Man, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, so anybody that has your Fangtooths or your Hunters or your Prototype Seekers that doesn't have a fleet of these built yet, though, or just wants to finish up the one that you haven't still completed yet, great campaign for you. And this is the campaign that you'll need to hit those base parts. This is the fleet, one of the 2 fleets, actually, that you can use to hit the new base parts targets when they finally get them fixed and out on the map.
That is correct.
This is not a co-op target.
Correct. This one is not the co-op. It is the next one that's the co-op.
Right.
Which we can just go ahead and go right into talking about now. Ross, go.
Now the next one here is we got the path to the continent. It's advanced through these familiar co-op targets on your way to stop the Zoe from taking over the glowing seas. These are single silo co-op targets. So you are going to want to grab a friend to complete these. If you have a friend who has fallen behind, this is your chance to help them catch up. Victory means that you can earn the Buccaneer, the Peak Acceleration Cannon, the Mass Augmentation Nexus, the Buccaneer itself, and build tokens. The run time on this is going to be 5:15 at noon PDT time till 5:22 at noon PDT time. Now, there's a note on here that only the player who starts the DLC will get the rewards. You can help as many as you want to complete it, but the person who does start their own campaign tower is the recipient of the rewards. Now, I have to say that this is my favorite one here, and the prize pack one this is my favorite campaign. It's out right now. The prize pack one is the assault. So you're going to want to truly use your Skyfires or your Phoenix fleet. I did try the new. I tried the mana course just to have a little fun. Let's just say don't do that. Horrible idea. They stun you to death. Your fleet will be gone. So
really?
Yeah, don't do it. So you make sure you use your Phoenix or your Skyfires. Prize pack one. Now you can get the Buccaneer for that. You get the peak accelerator cannon and the mass augmentation just in the prize pack one. Prize pack two, you're going to use a skirmisher fleet. So I really recommend the Fang Tooth in this one. And so you're going to get 1 day Buccaneer build tokens times 3. You're also going to get 6,000 VXP ranking tokens for the Buccaneer. Now,
hang on a second. Sorry, my phone.
Now in the last target, it's only 3 encounters. So 3 is the last one is the siege, and then this one I recommend. Well, I Buccaneer I liked a lot. You're going to get awarded the 1 day Buccaneer token times 7. Now that's quite a few, and you're going to get 30,000 VXP tokens. So this is pretty huge for all those people that do not have the Buccaneer out there, and they're your friends, and you play with them. In all honesty, reach out and co-op this up and get them this hull. This is going to be a required hull for them moving forward in the game. It's definitely a required hull in my opinion. Now I think that you could possibly get by maybe with the Hydra Siege and not this hull, but it'd be pretty hard. I suggest that everyone participate in this.
Yep, I totally agree. I agree. And this is where being an alliance comes in really handy, because people from your alliance should be willing to help you get this stuff if you don't have it. They should be willing to help you get it so you can progress your game.
I was even nice enough to help people in our sector get it.
Yeah, I know. There's tons of people who help, just random people. Like I remember Cuttlefish when this campaign first coming out, talking about how he had helped like 50-some people get Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But right now it's like there ain't no one playing to help.
I was
serious.
I've been able actually. I did one last evening for a player in the sector, and then this morning for a player in my alliance. Now, so I really look at it as you're helping the community advance with these co-ops. These if they're tuned correctly, and I do really believe that this one is tuned appropriate. We've seen that this target multiple times now. It really hasn't increased in damage through the roof. I'm pretty happy with the way this one here has been conducted.
So has the damage gone up this time from what it was last time? I have heard some reports from that damage has increased some.
Well, I got to tell you, it could be possible in the assault, because I tried I did try the mana court and I lost the entire fleet, and I have a pretty good, nice fleet. I don't have the lead in it, so I'm not sure what the stun was just wiping it out, and so I'm not sure the mechanics on that. But and the other ones in the skirmish and the siege, I saw no difference myself. Now I granted I have a fully ranked fleet, all the bells and whistles. So if you're not quite there.
I want to say I think where some people saw the difference might have been in the skirmish targets, that they were using hunters as opposed to fangtooths. Like if they had up the damage in that, you probably, if you were using fangs, you wouldn't notice because odds are you're not getting hit by anything. But if you're using hunters, the damage increase would be much more noticeable at that point. And I think that's what I saw.
I think Ross used the hunter and the new prototype seeker combo and did pretty well in them. Is that right, Ross?
No, I did the fang tooth today. I think I did last time, but I can't recall the actual damage. But I did know that I did use the fang tooth today. So that being that what Mike said there, that it's totally true. I wouldn't see the damage increase because I wasn't taking the full damage to compare.
Just two last things I want to talk about. One is, have you guys noticed that lately, this month especially, it seems like we're just doing PvE content to get PvP stuff. The raid was extremely heavy in PvP prizes, and the FM this week has been nothing but PvP prizes. I thought one of the whole purposes of splitting the game into two halves was so you would be able to get your PvP stuff you needed in PvP events and your PvE stuff you needed in PvE events. And it just seems like that's gone to the wayside now. And apparently you do all your PvE stuff to get your PvP stuff.
I agree. It's horrible. It seems like there's no direction, and we're just either going. We just have no direction. We don't get help from the managers as to what's going on, where we should be going. It's just kind of like fight it blindly. You guys lead your own path.
It's really weird because it just seems like over the past month is when we really lost the direction. It seemed like the first 4 months of this year, they were really working hard to try to turn things around, and now it just seems like we've lost our way again.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. They lost their way. Their plan went out the window, and it's not working.
My issue is that I see their enthusiasm in and truly enthusiasm in how they're projecting that they feel how wonderful their things they're doing are. When they come on their things and they say, well, these are what we've done, and we're so proud, and let us know what your thoughts are. Holy cow, are you serious? Really? Because, man, I'm not going to lie. If I was going to run my company like Kick Size Run, the last year, I guess my plans are to run it to the ground. And that's totally my opinion, but that's how I look at this. It's not an unguided path. We're definitely being directed. This is a plan. We didn't create this. They did. So I don't see the big picture here. That's my problem.
I think personally, and this is my opinion from what I know as a former business owner and having worked for many big companies and watching interactions and stuff, it seems like there's a lot of push and pull within the company itself. That one half of the company wants to go one direction and another half of the company wants to go another direction. And they keep pushing and pulling each other back and forth, back and forth.
But, here's the thing, there's there's companies out there that sell, let's be honest, they sell crap products that are flashy and make you look good, or they're fun. Okay. But in order to continue to sell those crap products that are flashy and look good, you treat your customers appropriately. If I were to sell the crappiest hat in the world, the ugliest thing in the world, but I felt the person buying it, I made them feel good purchasing it. Just as a quick interjection, I notice you're not wearing your Dolphins hat while you say that. Just right. No. But I mean, in all honesty, if you want people to return and just keep purchasing crap, you can sell crap. That's okay, but you treat your customers with some respect and give them some things. In all honesty, I'm looking at boats to buy. And if I buy this boat, I can call this dealer anytime in the next 10 years, and I guarantee they're going to answer my questions. when I play this game and I answer questions, I get the most ridiculous answers on the planet. You know, that's it. That's how I feel. I mean, if you want us to stay around, it doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes some common sense moves. That's the truth.
I do want to end tonight's show on a positive note, though. I mean, I scoured around for some positive things to talk about. The base parts things was one of them. Another positive thing, I personally think that the FM targets have been reduced in the amount of damage that they're putting out a little bit. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but from what I was doing this week, it does seem like I'm taking a little less damage than what I was the last time the FM was out.
Yes, I did notice that myself. That I did. I was like, wow. And they didn't say nothing about it.
But the report now, I'm just going by what I'm hearing myself, is that the 117 possibly was lightened, but the 112 is not. Is that what you're seeing?
I even honestly thought I was taking a little bit less damage than the 112 even.
Yeah, the 117 definitely.
Okay.
It's still an Inferno Dragon. It has no future. It's like the icebreaker of a year ago. It is. It's still a worthless piece of shit.
Well, I mean, you can say that, but I saw, like, Rue, for example, did a post where she went out and hit, like, 9 112s nonstop and ended up getting, like, 2.7 million FM points before she finally had to bring her fleet into repair. So, I mean, I guess it's all in the way you built it and what you run with it and everything, and what you're trying to hit, because to me, being able to get 2.7 million points before I have to repair is not necessarily a terrible thing.
No, that's a good thing.
What? That's not to me.
But I want to see strictly dragons, nothing else with it, just strictly dragons.
Yeah, what they were intended for. I tried riding the Zelos with it. I'm not that good a driver. I lose half the fleet doing 117.
Well, no, if I'm not mistaken, she's doing the same thing I am. We're just running a Savage flag, and yeah, it does give you some a bit of a buff to your defense, but I don't think it's all that huge of a buff in the big term of things.
No, I was meaning to ask you that. And that being that you just said that reminded me. So that 50% penetration defense buff, do you see 50% defense buff?
Oh, absolutely not, because it's diminishing returns like it is for everything. So it'll be
right.
50, so like if I have say for example, before I put the Savage in, I have 96% penetrative defense. It'll be 50% of the remaining 4%, so it would give me like 2% more.
Right.
However, the difference between 96% and 98% as far as amount of damage you can take is freaking huge.
Huge.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's like, and you say you want to see a fleet of nothing but dragons. Well, until we get a dragon flagship, that's a kind of a moot point,
Yeah.
and that's not going to happen until July.
Right.
So you would be silly to not run like a Savage, or possibly, like, if I had one built, I'd be really interested in seeing what a Dante's Nova Storm does as far as repair time, because that's the one that gives you explosive damage, explosive defense. And I know there's a lot of explosive damage in that target. So, but unfortunately, I don't have one of those built. I think I had it at one point, and then I scrapped it because I didn't think it would ever be useful again. And lo and behold, now I wish I hadn't scrapped it. But that might be one thing on my bucket list of things to build, just to see, compare damage running the Savages against running the Dantes.
Right.
But yeah, rejoice, kids. It does seem like the 117 damage for sure has come down a little bit. In my personal opinion, perhaps the 112 as well. So is one good thing, that kind of, I don't know if it's just a fluke that we're noticing it, or if they did it and didn't mention it, or I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it was something with countermeasures weren't working as well as they were supposed to, and maybe they've worked on some and they've gotten fixed. I don't know. All I know is it definitely does seem like they're doing a little bit less damage than before. So, But yeah, that's a positive note, and I think we'll end there. So
it'll be fine.
thanks, guys, for coming out, watching the show. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked it. Share us with your friends. And until next time, we will talk to you later.
Later. Good night.
Night, everyone.